So businesses everywhere are basically hiring this brilliant new assistant, right? The large language model. It's incredibly smart, super powerful, but also, let's be honest, a total wild card. And that's the big problem. How do you really know this genius is going to follow your company's rules? How do you hand over all that power without losing control and walking right into a massive compliance nightmare? Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into the AI compliance problem itself. Then we'll meet Raksha, which is this really cool AI guardrail. We'll get into the whole knowledge versus policy thing. That's super important. We'll see just how flexible it is, which is its superpower. We'll even take a peek under the hood to see how it performs and wrap up with what this could all mean for the future of AI that's actually, controlled. Really, it all boils down to trust, doesn't it? I mean, these huge language models, they're trained on pretty much the entire internet. So yeah, they know a ton of stuff, but they have absolutely no built-in idea of your company's specific non-negotiable rules. Putting one to work is kind of like giving the keys to a brand new intern who's a genius, but has literally zero corporate training. What could possibly go wrong?
And that's the question, right? The one that's probably keeping a lot of execs up at night. You've just spent all this money on this amazing new tech, but can you actually trust it not to go off the rails? Are you 100% sure it won't accidentally break a really important rule, or even worse, the law?
And we're not talking about small mistakes here. These fears are super specific and pretty scary. Like an AI assistant just casually leaking confidential salary info, or maybe it bypasses crucial security steps to let someone reset a password. Or what if it gives out advice that completely violates industry regulations? Every single one of those isn't just a simple error. It's a huge business risk. Okay, so how do you fix this mess? Well, there's this really fascinating approach called Raksha AI. And the first thing you need to get is that Raksha isn't just another massive language model. Nope. The best way to think about it is like a super specialized lightning-fast layer that sits on top. Basically, it's the guardrail. Its job is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Before a user's question can even get to your main chatbot, bam, Raksha intercepts it. It then checks that question against the specific set of business policies that you've set up. It's literally the bouncer at the club door, making sure only the legit, rule-following requests ever get inside. So here's how it works in practice. A user asks something. Instantly, Raksha jumps in and makes a decision, like in milliseconds. It asks, is this compliant? If yes, awesome. It sends it over to the LLM to get a great answer. But if it violates a rule, blocked, instantly. And if it's kind of murky or ambiguous, it gets flagged as an elevated risk so a human can check it out. The main point here is the big LLM doesn't get to say a word until Raksha gives it the okay. But how does Raksha know what to do? How does it make those calls so fast? Well, this is where it gets really, really clever. The whole system is built on this one core principle, a super strict separation between what an AI knows and what it absolutely must do. It's all about separating general knowledge from hard, enforceable policy. Let me break it down. On one side, you've got business knowledge. This is all the general stuff, the context, right? Things like your company's hours or what your products do. It's just information. It's what the AI knows. But then, on the other side, you have business policy. And these are the non-negotiable, hard and fast rules. Things like, you will not process requests outside of operating hours. This isn't just info. It's what the AI must obey. No exceptions. Okay, check out this perfect example. A user wants to book a taxi for 3 in the morning. Now, if your company's operating hours are just filed under knowledge, the main LLM might see that and go, we're closed, but I'll try to be helpful anyway. And Raksha would probably let that slide. But the second you change that and define your hours as a policy, everything changes. The exact same request to book a taxi at 3 a.m. gets instantly blocked. Why? Because now it's breaking a rule. And this simple idea, separating knowledge from policy, is what gives it this incredible flexibility. It's its superpower. Because the rules aren't hard-coded deep inside the model, you can actually change them on the fly. You can even swap out the entire business context it's working in, all without having to restart a single thing. So, for example, in the very same session, you can just tell the model, okay, you're now an account operations assistant. And boom, instantly its policies switch to things like verifying account ownership and blocking anyone who tries to get around authentication. And then, a second later, you can say, all right, scratch that. Now you're a restaurant booking agent. Just like that, it's enforcing totally new rules about maximum party sizes and only taking reservations between certain times. And then you can switch it again to be an HR policy assistant. Now it's all about keeping salary info confidential and making sure leave policies are followed to the letter. Being able to jump between these different jobs, these different domains, in one session, that is a massive deal for any big company. Okay, so it sounds great in theory, but how well does it actually work? Let's be real and take a transparent look at its performance, the good and the not so good. Well, this stated accuracy is pretty darn impressive. We're talking 99.2% for the B1 version 2 model. That means it correctly figures out if a request is following the rules 99.2% of the time. For a control system, that is a really, really high level of reliability. But what about that other 0.8%? Where does it slip up? Well, to their credit, the developers are totally upfront about the model's main weakness right now, and that's understanding age. So, for instance, if a policy says you have to be 16 to get a gym membership and someone tries to sign up their 12-year-old kid, the model currently gets it wrong and approves the request. It's a very specific challenge, and it's exactly the kind of thing they're working to fix. So, when you step back and look at the big picture, what does all this mean for the future of AI in the business world? Well, it really points to a pretty big shift in how we even think about rolling out these powerful tools. The way it's described is just perfect, a constraint-first AI. Think about that. Instead of starting with this wild, powerful model that can do anything and then desperately trying to fence it in, you start with the fence. You start with the constraints, the rules, the policies, and you build everything up from there. It's a massive shift in thinking from, hey, what can this thing do, to, okay, what are we allowing it to do? And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? When you separate the rules from the general knowledge, you end up with a system that enforces your policies in real time and can adapt to anything you throw at it. It finally gives businesses a real way to control their AI assistants so they can actually use this incredible tech without being terrified of what it might do. So that leaves us with a pretty interesting question to chew on. If you had this kind of power, if you could write just one single, unbreakable rule that your company's AI had to follow no matter what would you make it say?